Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm so thrilled that I'm actually filming in some natural light because it is winter right now and it doesn't get light until 7 o'clock in the morning and gets dark at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not often that I get to do this, so I'm taking advantage of it today for a skincare product that I am testing, and this is the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Base. This one is in the Radiant Yellow. There is also a pink shade, and we're going to do what we usually do. We're not going to talk a lot about MAC because as a brand, because I've done that in previous videos and I'll link those down below. I'm going to talk a little bit about this product, and then we're going to put it on half of my face. This is actually a first impression, which I don't usually do. I usually try to use a product for a while, but I thought it might be fun to sort of do half and half and see how it wears through the day. And then I will give you my impressions on it. So let's start a little bit about MAC. MAC is a company that everybody knows. I don't need to tell you that much about it, but let me tell you that I will have timestamps down below for different parts of this video so you can jump around as you wish. MAC, I always have a soft spot for it. I've explained this in previous videos because it was the makeup I always wanted when I was like a teenager. And it was started in Toronto, and I grew up in Toronto, so it always kind of gives me that, you know, cheering for the hometown team kind of feeling. And interestingly, last weekend I was back in Toronto again, and I was in Queen West, maybe it's called, Parkdale. It didn't used to be a thing as much when I was a kid, but it's like the mecca of skincare, and like there's the Bite Beauty Lab there, and I went in it's like a standalone Bite store, and there were all these women at the counter. I think it was all girls, there might have been a couple of guys there creating their own like lipstick colors in there, and then there was an entire Decium store, so all of the Ordinary products in their own standalone store. So Toronto has a lot going for it. Other Canadian skincare brands, The Ordinary, as I said, Bite, Cover FX started in Canada, so we do have a good number of Canadian products, but I feel like MAC is sort of the original Canadian best known makeup brand. That didn't really tell you a lot about the product, that's just more about me. But let's start talking about the product itself. This is a primer. It's a illuminating base. When I first got this, I thought this isn't going to be great for my skin because I tend to get oily by the end of the day. I'm not necessarily someone who needs to add moisture to my skin, but this is the right time of year for it. It's cold, it's dry, it's definitely below freezing every day lately. And when I read about this, it actually does talk about having oil controlling properties. So let's start out by talking a bit about generals about this product. So this little sample right here, does it even say how much you get in it? You get 0.2 fluid ounces in here, a tiny little sample. If you actually buy the actual product, you get 1.7 fluid ounces, which is actually quite considerable. Generally, a foundation bottle will have 1 fluid ounce of product in it, so you get quite a lot, but you are going to be spending $42 Canadian for it. It does come in 2 different shades, and I do think the other shade, which is a pink, would probably be better suited for my skin tone, but let me tell you what they say about this product. It is a silky gel emulsion, rich in natural ingredients that hydrates and primes to improve foundation or powder application, control oil, and promote smooth texture. So it actually may be good for my skin. It may add a little bit of luminosity while also controlling oil, which is a really nice combination to have. It says that vitamin E and C protect with antioxidants, while caffeine calms the skin, which is interesting. I wouldn't think of caffeine as calming the skin. Illuminating pearl powders reflect optic radiance. It's now in 2 shades. Radiant Yellow is especially effective on deeper skin tones, and Radiant Pink for fairer skin tones. So not necessarily my ideal shade, but that's okay. The formula disappears upon application, resulting in a beautiful glow. So its key claims that we're going to test it on today is that it controls oil, it provides long-term hydration. Those 2 things kind of seem to contradict each other, but we'll see. Contradict. Sorry. I obviously need more coffee today. It smooths and softens skin, it improves radiance, it refines skin, and it is silicone free. It says to put it on all over the face or to the desired areas after moisturizer, right before foundation, with fingertips, sponge, or brush. So interestingly, usually what I do with primer is that I put on my moisturizer, finish my skincare. After I put on my moisturizer, I wait at least 10 minutes so that the moisturizer really has a chance to sink in. Then I will put on primer, and I usually, depending on how much of a rush I'm in the morning, try to wait around 10 minutes then as well for the primer to sink in and sort of get on my skin before I start moving it around with foundation. That's just always kind of what I thought of to do. But this does say immediately before foundation, so maybe we don't need to wait as much. I think that's everything I have to say about the product itself. I am going to put this on, but I'm actually going to go grab my foundation first because I thought I was going to have some time in between application and foundation application, but it sounds like we're going to do them right back to back. So I will be back in one moment. I'm back and it's time to prime. Should I zoom you in a tiny little bit more? Let's do that. Okay, let's prime half my face. Which side shall we do? Shall we do this side? Sure. So it does come out looking yellow, but not incredibly so. And I'm gonna guess that that's a fair bit for one side of my face. It says you can apply with a brush or fingers or a sponge. I probably put too much on. Wipe some of that off. Just put some down here. I always use a fingers for primer. So this feels just exactly like putting on moisturizer. So if you had watched my illuminating, what was it, Smashbox primer, that one was like thick, thick, thick. This one feels very moisturizing. It's just like putting on another layer of moisturizer. It doesn't say it fills pores at all, but I'm gonna sort of pat a little bit to see if I can encourage it to fill any pores that are there. There's lots of pores there. So I just looked close up in my mirror. I mean, this side does look dewier, but I mean, I just put a creamy product on there. So, I mean, I do see some illumination here, not incredibly so over the other side of my face. What do you think? I'll just do this so the filter comes off. I don't want to have, but my camera does seem to blur my face. I have been trying the entire time I've had this camera to turn it off. I thought I had, but it still seems to be doing it to some extent. So I do try to zoom in so that you can see what my skin looks like. So it definitely did not fill any pores. It's a little bit illuminating looking, but it also still hasn't quite 100% dried down. Not a huge difference as far as I can see. Let's put my foundation on, or I will put my foundation on. You can't really help with that. So I have been using lately and enjoying again and I'm just shaking it if you wonder why I'm moving funny, my Studio Makeup On The Go foundation. Not On The Go, it's the Studio Makeup Perfecting Finish Foundation. I did a review on this, and also I highlighted in my project pan how I'm trying to use this more as part of my project pan. I'll link to that down below. I do find I'm really enjoying this. It's just oh, I'm gonna do this far away from my face because the pump seems to be getting jammed up and hard to pump, and then when it does come out, it will often come out sort of spraying all over the place. So there's my foundation. It's actually quite a thick foundation. It does have a fair bit of a pink tinge to it, so it'll be interesting to see if this sort of yellow primer underneath really does anything to maybe counteract that. I know this is a little thing, but I'm going to do the non-prime side first, just so I don't transfer any of the primer to the non-prime side. I'm sure it would be a negligible amount, but I'm going to do that anyway. So that is the non-prime side. Looks like it usually does. And so I will do the other side. So that is both sides of my face done. I don't see a huge difference. I do find there's a touch more luminosity just right here on this side of my face. I don't see it on my forehead, I don't see it on my chin, but I see it right in this area. I don't see any difference between the pores on both sides of my face. I'll zoom you in and show you up close. As I said, I see maybe a little bit of extra dewiness here, but that's about it. Trying to decide if I should powder or not. I generally always powder to try to give that extra bit of, oil safeguard, but maybe I'll try to sort of just powder where I'm gonna put powder products on so that things blend on top and really give this a chance to set down. So I'm going to go and get the rest of my makeup on, and I will be back to see if there's any difference with makeup application, and then we will be doing some check-ins through the day. See you soon. So I'm back with all of my makeup on. If you're curious about the eye look, I've been playing around with the Winky Lux Kitten palette, and the color of my lips is also part of my project pan. It is Juice Beauty gloss in the shade Fig. I I find I do see luminosity coming through on this side of my face. It looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more dewy, and I'm really liking it. So the question now through the day is going to be, does it hold up? Do I get oilier there? Does it keep the foundation on my face, or is it going to start coming off more than the other side? So I did not end up powdering, and I did not use setting spray because I wanted to really see what the primer did as opposed to layering products on top of it. I did powder a little bit right here just under my eyes so that my concealer would stay in place, but other than that, we're going to do check-ins through the day and see what this all looks like at the end. See you soon. So this is some very bright sunshine coming in right now. The sun's started to go down, even though it's only mid-afternoon. I know I look totally different than I did before. I've been out grocery shopping, I've been running errands, so I just threw my hair up, put on a hoodie. But let's zoom in and see how this is doing because I've been taking a look and I have thoughts, and I'll share those thoughts with you. Oh, I apologize if I'm squinting, it's very bright. So I think they're looking fairly the same on both sides. But surprisingly, it's not feeling heavy or greasy. I find my chin is getting shiny, but it's equally shiny on both sides. And my forehead as well. I mean, I do like the way this is sitting on my skin quite a bit, but I don't know that it's that different than this side. So I'm gonna continue looking at it through the day, see when it really starts to get like noticeably oily, but I'm really impressed actually for being an illuminating primer that adds moisture and not having powdered, that it's not getting really broken up and greasy. Zoom you back out. I did do a guy test. I asked my partner, is one side of my face looking better than the other? Because I'm testing a product on one side of my face. And he looked and kind of went, there's no difference. So any difference that there is very small, but I will be back later on in the day to give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, it's the end of the night. I've had this on for about 8.5 hours so far, and I have thoughts. So you can probably see that I'm shiny. I would say the shininess started at about 6 to 7 hours in there, and it's equal on both sides of my face. Like, it got to the point about an hour ago where I could touch my face and it just felt oily, and I tried to blot a little bit with a tissue because I didn't have any blotting papers or anything. My eye makeup is holding in well, but I mean, it was kind of equal on both sides of my face, although right now it's actually looking like it's maybe shinier on this side, which is strange. So I did not find that this made a huge difference in controlling oil throughout the day, but it also didn't make me any oilier, which is something that I'm usually worried about when I'm wearing illuminating or moisturizing primers. So let me give you my pros and cons of this and who might like this in terms of first impression. So I love that it went on with like a moisturizer. It didn't feel thick, it didn't feel heavy. I love that it didn't make me any oilier during the day, and it did provide me with a little bit of illumination at the start of the day. I'd say by about the 2 or 3 hour mark, it had kind of become even on both sides of my face. You really couldn't tell that much. Maybe, no, that's on my cheek at like about 4 hours, you could see that I had a little bit more dewiness before it started getting really oily. On the con side, I mean, it wasn't a huge impact. Like, I really didn't see any yellow tinged glow. I don't feel like the yellow or pink would be very much of a difference. So it didn't, like, and you know, asking somebody who didn't know what the product was or which side of my face it was on, they couldn't tell one side of my face from the other in terms of what my skin looked like. So for me, this is something that I am going to use later on in the winter when my skin starts getting really chapped and really dry. We're having sort of our second bit of snowfall just in the last hour. It started snowing and we have a few centimeters of snow outside. So it's not really super dry yet, but it's going to get to that point. So I'm going to keep this on hand because I love the fact that it does moisturize and illuminate without making me oilier. Also, this was a really great test to see that I really like this foundation without any powder going on top of it. I think that I was having a really good skin day today, but I was having it on both sides of my face. I do think that if you tend to run a little on the drier side, if your skin tends to be on the dull side, you're going to like this. Now, it's $42 Canadian for 1.7 ounces. But 1.7 ounces is a lot. So, I mean, that is about $20 per fluid ounce, which is like the amount you'll get in a foundation. So I don't think this is a bad deal. It's an expensive investment to start with, but I think, as I said, this is mostly going to be good for you if you have dull skin, maybe if you have dry patches but still have slightly combination skin, because it's not going to make you any oilier. It's a nice primer. But for me, it doesn't make enough of a difference on my skin for me to want to go out and buy it. I'm going to keep it on hand. I'm going to keep using it through the winter when it gets drier out, when my skin really wants to suck in the moisture. And what I am going to do, because I don't usually do first impressions, but I kind of just wanted to do it today so we could see together how it went, I'm going to keep updating down below in the description bar if there's any change to my opinion as I use this over time. And I'm more than happy to answer questions about what this primer was like. I do try to respond to every comment that I get. So if you have any questions, if you have comments, if you've used this before, if there are other good illuminating but still oil controlling primers out there, let me know. I love hearing from you guys in the comment section. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe by clicking on my face right here. Also hit that bell button down below so that you get notified when I post, and I will put another one of my videos right here so you can watch that. Spend a bit more time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I know first impression is a little bit different from me, but I hope you liked it, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.